and gentlemen, entrepreneurs of all ages, let's try to make some money. This is 1 Million Cups Chico chapter. It is January 10th, 2018, and I'm fortunate enough to be the first also MC and presenter today for 1 Million Cups. I'd like to introduce 1 Million Cups, and I'm Tim Sharkey. I'm the MC much every week, depending if I'm out of town, but I'm a small business owner, a Chico gift and ship, and an entrepreneur. We have William Wolford, operations at Chico Start, Wendy Porter, managing director over at Chico Start, Danny Schwartz, the lady boss, Danny Schwartz Consulting.
You're going to change that.
I did not want to change that. We have Erin Banwell here at Idea Fab Labs, founder, executive director at Idea Fab Labs. Carly Santa, she is a zone leader and instructor. She's part of the Idea Fab Labs as well. Alexander Van, CEO of Up. We have Valerie Redmond, entrepreneur, marketer, and customer experience expert. We have Preston Linderman, tech entrepreneur here. Hello, Preston. Courtney Farrell from Chico State, and Caliana from Happy at Home. We also have Jennifer. Right here. And I think that's it on the new people on board. We'd also like to thank 6 Degrees Coffee for supporting us and providing all the coffee everything for us. Thank you very much, we appreciate it. And we also have BCAC donating their time and the resources to videotape and edit and post all of our videos so we can share our ideas to the world. And of course, where we're being hosted, Idea Fab Labs with Erin. Thank you for providing the facility. And having it warm today. It's very nice.
Yeah, it's nice and warm.
Want to make sure that everyone signs in if you haven't been here before. We have a sign-in log sheet that Wendy has. There's also the 1 Million Cups app that you can download on your phone, and you can see what kind of presentations are coming up if you'd like to join, invite people. We also would like you to like our Facebook page and share in the local community. If you see anything that's interesting, bring someone with you. That would be very nice to help support the community. And what is 1 Million Cups? 1 Million Cups is put on by the Kauffman Foundation, and we happen to be lucky enough to be able to be a local chapter. It's all based off of the many, many cups of coffee that are drank while you're working on your business, you're creating your projects, you're sharing your ideas all over America and the world. So hopefully we can contribute to those 1 Million Cups here in Chico. It's to promote the entrepreneurial spirit, and it's a free weekly support group, you might say, for people and entrepreneurs to present their ideas in front of their peers and local business leaders. And we encourage people to come and present their ideas. You can go online, you can present your application, we'll take a look at it. You get to work with the organizers that I introduced, and we'll help you with prepping your presentation. You can come up here, do your 6-minute and 20-minute question and answer before you have to go and sit in front of board of directors or financing or the banks. So you can help make your presentation a little bit more polished, be more confident about it, and get those hard questions out in the open before you get in front of people and you just stare at them like a deer with the headlights on. I've been there. So we want to say thank you for showing up, and
Wait, Tim, can I say something really quick?
Yes.
I just want to say thank you, everybody, for coming. A lot of you have been here before, but it's really powerful that there are today, this Wednesday, in over 100 cities in the United States, these are happening right now. And so, in lots of different communities. And so to be a part of that is pretty special. So thank you all for supporting our local entrepreneurs here in Chico. We hope to see you each week if you can. And definitely invite other people. It's open to everybody. So come. Thanks, Tim.
Thank you, Wendy. Appreciate it. All right, so I'd like to introduce to you today Tim Sharkey with the Food Innovation Center. That is myself. This is one of my own projects that I've put together and trying to get support in the local community to help solve a problem and an issue that I've had myself. So I wanted to just say hello. My name is Tim Sharkey, and thank you for your time today. I appreciate you getting out of the office and showing up to help support us. It's exactly what Wendy said. So this is my concept, and this is my idea to help the community. And it all started with my own personal endeavor of starting a small food product here in Butte County. I started with California habanero blends. And this was actually just a wild idea. I like to cook. My friends and family said, hey, you need to sell this stuff. I didn't know what to do. I don't have a food background, so I didn't know what to do. I went to local resources. I use SCORE. We have BT here actually from SCORE. I use the Small Business Development Center with some of my other small projects. So I went to those resources to look for some help, and on my way, I filled out a questionnaire for Butte County, and I ended up getting a grant through the Butte Business Incubator Program. It was out of the blue. They sent me a letter and said, you have 300 hours of free services for product development, packaging, website, marketing collateral. All I had done is send in 2 sentences saying I'd like to create my own hot sauce and have a manufacturing facility. And then I checked every box that they said I wanted help with. So I had 2 gentlemen come to my house. At the time I was a stay-at-home dad. The house was a mess. 1 kid was sick. I had some sauces that just happened to be in the fridge. They tried them out with just some saltine crackers. I didn't even have any chips. And the recipes weren't even written down. So they loved the product, and it's a little bit different because we don't have a traditional hot sauce. It's not just salt, vinegar, and peppers. We use juices as the background and as the acid base. So they're juice-based. We use fresh purees, and you can use them in your everyday cooking the same way you would a pepper. So it has versatile uses, multiple uses in the kitchen. So you can add to what you're cooking and creating. So it's a little bit different than the typical hot sauce. So I was able to, within a year, working with the Butte Incubator Program, get onto store shelves with 3 different products in packaging. So we have Rayleigh's, Nauville, Bel Air is actually one company, Safeway, New Earth Markets, and Holiday Markets, along with lots of little small stores, Macy Jane's, made in Chico, and a bunch of different Villagers down in Napa, and in Vallejo. And we have products all the way from here in Chico, all the way down to Napa, all the way down to Monterey, and throughout the Bay Area. So we have store spaces, and we have product. The problem that I came across was that the Butte Incubator Program helped me create packaging and marketing and a concept. What they didn't help me with was actually having any knowledge in the food industry. How to do label compliance, why I needed a UPC code, why I needed a nutrition label, how to deal with brokers, how to do contract negotiations, how to deal with free product placement, how to actually get on a store shelf, a point of sale, your line card, why you need a line card. So there was a lot of stuff that was left out of it that I had to figure out on my own, which was a huge learning curve. And it is also costly. So now I have to provide all this product to all these different stores. And I directly went to a co-packer. I went to a co-packer because I wanted consistency in my product, and I didn't have enough time to fill thousands and thousands of bottles with a pitcher and funnel. So I didn't go to a commercial kitchen, because that's what a commercial kitchen is. It's a kitchen. It's meant to create meals, be cleaned up at the end of the day, and then start over again tomorrow. It's not meant to drop off all your glass and your packaging, your dry goods and your cold goods, to store all that stuff. So it's not really feasible, and the equipment they have are small size, they're limited, and again, you have to go back to the funnel and the pitcher method of filling all the bottles. So time is money. My time is better spent going out and creating the accounts, creating the relationships, and getting my product out there with food demos, doing shows, and doing product development on my own, how to use the recipes, creating recipes, and putting them out there for the public. So it came to the point where I am the small guy in the totem pole at the co-packer. I still have to run 200 cases of everything. I need to get 3 different products. So it's 800, 2, 4, 6, but it's usually about 800 bottles. They run over, they run under, but it can run about $15,000 to get those products delivered from my warehouse. And once you do that, you just pick up your product ready to sell, which is fine. But I'm not at the point where I'm going to sell 800 cases of sauce right now. And either there's a lot of the smaller food companies around here. So all of a sudden you have a product that has a time clock on it because it has a best buy date. Usually put 2 years on it, and that is all subjective because if it's a shelf-stable product, it could last up to 5 years. And I have actually some that are original and they're 9 years old. So, all of a sudden, you do sit down with the buyer at Safeway, and the new buyer says, hey, yeah, let's do 10 stores. 10 stores is only going to make 100 cases maybe. But they want brand new product. I just spent $15,000 on a batch of product. It's sitting in my warehouse, but it's already 6 months into its best buy date, but they want fresh stuff. All of a sudden, I have to come up with another $15,000 to get the production run, to get it, and hopefully in time, by the time they want me on the shelf. So as the small guy on the totem pole, the co-packer, you're just at the whim of whatever their production run. If they have a truckload come in, they're going to run that first instead of yours. So you're very limited on the power you have to actually say yes to some accounts. You have to turn down business because you don't have the cash flow. And that's my biggest hurdle, is to have cash flow and to be able to order product when I need it in shorter production runs. So I started thinking, what do I need to do? I need to find a facility.
2 minutes left.
Oh, I need to find a facility. So I found El Pajaro Kitchen in Watsonville. It's a large open source kitchen where you can use their facilities. You can walk in there. It's about 6,000 square foot kitchen right here. And you can have all your products. You can have things delivered. You have a rack to do your things. Cold storage. But what isn't there are any of the supported services. They're not going to help you with the product, the label, the nutrition panels, how to talk to distributors, how to do those contract negotiations. So my facility would jump up one different thing, and that is to include an open source kitchen, supported services. You can come in and use food science, help develop your recipe, have sustainability, know that your product is going to scale up from farmer's market to commercial production runs, because those are two different totally animals. For you selling a product in small batch at the farmer's market to being a commercial-based product on the store shelf. And that needs to be looked at for your longevity and sustainability. So having a production kitchen where you can actually create the products, test the products, and then actually order short batches to fill when you need, when the customer needs them. So you have better control of your cash flow. And once you've gone through this system, you've been vetted. Everything's, your recipe's done, you've worked with counselors, your business plan's been done. And now as the co-packer, I can help support you. I can sit there and go with you to the buyers and say, hey, we vetted the product, everything is up and up. If you give us 100 stores, I'll back it and I'll make sure those products are in the store when you need them. So this is something a little bit different by offering microloans and terms on the production of the small batch. So you're helping produce small companies that are sustainable, not only with their products, but with their business. And that's the huge part that's missing with a lot of these open kitchens and commercial kitchens. They're just basic small business development, widget-based, and they don't have any back-end. You just helped put all the community's time and resource to help create a product, create a small company, and then they have to leave the area because they start getting big. And they have to go to a co-pack facility. Once they have to go out of the area, because there are not any co-pack facilities around here, they have to go down to San Jose, they have to go down south, they have to go to Fresno, LA. So now you just created a product and a company that has to leave the area. You just took those dollars and sent them somewhere else. You sent those jobs somewhere else. You sent that company somewhere else. So to help alleviate that is to create the Food Innovation Center, which is a shared open kitchen, supported services, with co-packing, and working with the local community. So that's where you have 4-bottle fillers, you have large kettles, you have production runs, you're available to technology with safe labeling, source track, nutrition analysis, inventory control. Let's see, it's hard to pack this in 6 minutes.
You got 30 seconds, wrap it up.
So what I need to do is I need to ask the community. I've pitched this to board of directors for Economic Alliance, to 3 or 4 different local entities. Everyone loves this idea. They say this is what we need for the community. But as myself as an individual, I'm not a nonprofit. I'm not a county-based or a government entity. And that's what you need to apply for the USDA RBEG grant. So it's, I don't know the name of it, but there's a local USDA grant we can apply for our local community, which actually allows us to spend that money on the feasibility study to know what kind of site location we need, how much capacity it can handle, and what particular area that it does need to be in, because you also open up value-added ag services to all the farmers. And working with the farmers, you can bring in North Valley Food Hub, small farmers, fresh produce inside the facility, and have access to contract growing for the local small products to sustain their organic and locally made products. So it's a huge undertaking that'll have to happen in multiple phases. So start off with the co-pack facility that actually takes current products, can generate revenue right away when products are on the shelf, open up into the bigger kitchen, bring new companies in, expand their product line, and then have a place for them to actually be sustainable by providing a product when they need it and putting it on the shelves.
So what's your ask?
So my ask is that I need the local community leaders, Butte County, the City of Chico, Alliance for Workforce Development, having people come in, because when the facility is up and running at full capacity, it'll have about 30 different jobs. So creating 30 different manufacturing jobs and helping small companies will be a real economic boost to the area in itself. It'll help provide a place for food companies to come, and people will come to our facility just because of the supported service and the lifestyle that we have in Chico. So if you know anyone in the community who'd like to sit down, talk, and become a stakeholder to figure out our partnership structure, how it can work, and where we can locate it, that's what I would like to do.
Questions?
Now it's time for the question and answer. Do you have anything for Tim, please? Yes, Tim.
Hi, Tim. Okay, I love this concept. I'm familiar with this in other cities, so this is not anything new.
Correct.
There's a ton of these in the Bay Area, Portland, Boulder. So I'm with you 100%. You lost me on the financing of these startups. So is the $4 million just the facility build and the startup for co-packing, or does that also include funds to help cash flow some of your tenants?
Those numbers that were listed there, it was like 4.2 for the facility, but overall, it's actually like $7 to $10 million for a facility, not including the land. That's just the build out. Equipment, some of the employees and training and certifications and licensing for the facility. It does not include funding for actually helping the small business person. So that's where you have to work with either angel investors, private money, or the community-based money, because I know there's different funds out there that could be applied to this, and most of it is not actually giving the direct loans to the people. Most of it is just offering financing on the product that's being produced at the particular time. So if you have a contract with Safeway and they do want to do 100 stores, I'm going to give you terms on that where you have 45 days and you can set up net 15 with Safeway and turn those dollars around and just do like a joint check with them. That way there's no out-of-pocket money for the food producer, and they can grow. That way you don't have to turn down those 100 stores. So that's where the micro lending kind of comes in, and that goes to the co-pack side of it. I don't know if that answered everything, but yes.
You're Butte County, right?
Correct.
Is there state or Fed, or you were talking about angel investors? What about big time? What about Amazon / Whole Foods now? What about, is there money there? I mean,
Yes.
Fed obviously no.
Fed, maybe not, but that's the USDA, and that's where you get the Fed money. State, there are some different programs available out there, because we are actually part of California.
SBA?
The SBA has some stuff. You know, the El Pajaro Kitchen was actually funded by the SBA and also the USDA. Rabobank has a large CRA fund to help value-added ag services, and down in Watsonville, it's huge ag. They actually own their own facility now, and they started off small in just a little facility, and they've just grown over the last 5 years. And they are actually now incorporating the co-pack line. I've talked to them over the last 2 years. I've sat down with my concept for them because they have a whole another 5,000 square foot wide open. It was a cheese processing facility. So they've taken that concept and they know that they're grooming all these small companies coming into their facility. They're training them, they're using it, and they're leaving. So to keep those dollars in-house that they just trained and supported and put into this company, they just got a whole $100,000 grant to get the processing equipment to start a small co-pack line. And that was for wet and some dry mix stuff. So they see the need for it as well. And they've jumped it up a whole nother level down there, which is very, very nice to see. And I've actually talked to them, the board of directors, and they are more than willing to offer us how they applied for everything, how they did their particular items, and how they actually got underwritten from a lot of their different loans that they got. Yes,
How have you developed a relationship with Chico State so far?
I've talked to the food science department. I've talked to Maria over there. I've sat down with her many times. She is very open to the idea because this is actually a hands-on training facility that could be local, where she can actually put into practice all the stuff that they're learning in class, hands-on inside a facility, and help small companies develop these products. And it's not only with developing the products, it's developing the process lines and the intellectual property that go along with those particular products.
So she probably has access to grant funding.
She might
to
have.
help with that.
I do have an NDA with her on this, and she's very helpful.
So you should keep in mind that I think it's the Office of the Provost that has the Civic Engagement Group. And Gail Hutchinson, the president, is very adamant about creating more civic engagement opportunities where the students can do real life work in the community. And so this is perfect for,
It would be.
yeah. So
And not
that's-
only working just with the food department, but working with marketing, working with the business
Yeah,
department,
exactly.
working with the engineering side. So you have,
Just remind me to connect you with the woman who runs the civic engagement group, just so you can she can mark that as one of the items that she's going after.
so it's a larger concept. It has to happen in phases, but the main part of it is actually just having that co-pack side to help the small food company get on the shelf, stay on the shelf, and help them with their expansion and growing to the point where they need their own facility. So they already know what equipment they need, they already know what ingredients they need, they already know everything that's going to happen. That way they can start their own processing facility here in Butte County. They're not leaving the area. Yes?
So I saw one of your slides said you would cater towards food trucks. So I'm wondering if you will have a more traditional commercial kitchen for food trucks and maybe caterers.
Well, and that is the El Pajaro Open Kitchen area.
So where is this space actually?
Right now, this is all concept. There is no facility like this in Butte County at all.
You don't even have a building in
I don't have a building, I don't have a site location. I actually went out and looked out at Challenge, I think it's out Challenge Drive in Oroville by the airport. There used to be the Business Innovation Center out there, and it's like a 40,000 square foot facility. Slater and Sons own the property. I walked it with them. It's awesome. There's already built-in classrooms. There's manufacturing side. There's refrigeration built in, and it can happen in phases. They can just lease out front part of the building just to do classes and get momentum going, and then you can open up the processing center, and then you can open up the kitchens. But yes, it is. I do want to have it open for like food trucks and caterers to come in and use this open facility, and that's how this is done. There's catering companies, meal prep companies, a bread company. There's a pickle company. There's a guy who makes balsamic vinegars. They have a lot of stuff, and now they actually have their own specific California-based products that they go to the fancy food shows, especially Food Association. So they actually give them a little preference because it's a nonprofit. They're helping small companies grow and expand. So especially Food Association actually has a big area set aside just for helping small companies and getting people up and running, which is very nice for them. And they have a huge education-based system behind them about how to deal with brokers, vocabulary, dealing with pricing structures, sourcing your ingredients, and just getting into the marketing side of it, because that's the huge side. Yes?
On this kitchen, is the equipment shared, or if everybody's kind of doing something different, do they bring their own equipment?
Down here at El Pajaro and a few other kitchens I've toured down in the Bay Area, it depends. they'll bring it in for you if you're going to do long-term contract with them. They'd rather finance the equipment and have it there, and if you do leave and grow to a point where you have it, to possibly sell that equipment to them when they leave. So that out of expense isn't out of their pocket right away. And a lot of the equipment they get is used. So as long as it's being used and it's something that other people might be able to use, they'll bring it in specially. If not, they do bring in their own stuff. And that's where those racks came into play here. People bring in their own materials, their own specialty stuff. They can lock it in a thing and it rolls away into a specific corner. And you also have storage rack space in the warehouse, so all your dry goods and stuff can go out on the storage rack. You also have rack space in the walk-in cooler. So you have lots of different places to store your equipment, so you can just walk in and start production at any time. Anybody else? Gary?
Have you considered, I'm totally novice to all this, but I know that like U College has some kind of partnership relationship with the Chico Beauty College, you know, where they provide cosmetology certification, but somehow it's accredited through U College. I don't know how it works. Any kind of relationship like that for
With U College
certifications?
themselves, no, but I've worked with Sophie through the Small Business Development Center about putting on classes and different workshops and spreading the word throughout the community. From there, the conversation went to if there was a big enough need and people came to the classes and there was an expanded need for this different knowledge, because the processing side of it is a whole nother food science stuff, so training there would be very helpful.
Because I think that students' financial aid money can be spent on things like that cosmetology program. I'm wondering if it could
Could
also
be the same
spent.
for manufacturing.
Yeah.
It would be nice. I like that idea. Whitney?
What about Dan Gonzalez in the Miriam Park? I know that he was talking about trying to put something like this over there in the Miriam Park
Correct.
area.
And I've sat down and talked to Dan Gonzalez. We had a nice, 2-hour talk. I showed him all my information. This is a little bit larger than he's thinking about. He does want to have an
That's what it
open,
sounds like.
open kitchen because they have limited space over there.
Right.
But that could be a satellite, and that's what we talked about, possibly having a satellite area, because then you can have all these different small products that are being made to have an open kitchen and a little cafe in the front of it. So now you're creating products in food that actually can be sold to the general public, and they can see a facility where products are being made. So it's a very cool concept at Marion Park. It would be nice to be part of that. But some of this is just a little bit larger, because talking to Noel and Jake at North Valley Food Hub, bringing them in, because they have their first phase done for the Food Hub, which was creating a partnership between local small farmers and institutional-based produce buyers and hospitals and schools. So now they have the hospital, schools, and buyers coming to them. They tell them what they want. The growers pick from the list, and they start growing commodity crops at a higher profit margin because they're not just doing the almonds and alfalfa and rice. So now they have the farmers, they have the places, and they're using Chico State and food containers, refrigerated. So they're just jockeying around all these fresh produce in the middle of Chico heat at 100 degrees, 110, trying to get things in and out. So they need an aggregation facility to bring all the produce. They need a place to do cold chill. They need to sanitize it, and they also need to box and package and ice down stuff. And this would be a perfect place to incorporate two worlds together, because you have all this fresh produce coming in. It's already going out to distribution, and you also have fresh produce available for the small food producers to incorporate into their products. And as they grow, hopefully give more business to the growers and the farmers to contract grow as the facility grows or the product grows. And then you have the anchor tenant, and you're leasing out the cold storage space and the aggregated services to them as well. So that's a whole other revenue stream to add into the scene. So the revenue streams are the co-packing. Current products are out there on the store shelves. Having new people come in and lease floor space, equipment space, and time. You're also selling to them a shared pantry. So you have ingredients that you're selling with the collective buying power of all these small people. And that's a lot of things these other small kitchens don't have. Every time you walk into there, you're just a blank slate. You have to go find your own ingredients. You have to find your own buyers. You have to buy your own supplies. which there's no collective thing. There's no education behind what you're buying, where you're buying it from, what's going into the product. Is it non-GMO? Is it organic? Where it came from? Where are the sources? Is it sustainable? You use it one time and then you can't find it the next. So creating a place where there's a shared pantry is just huge because you have better buying power and you can start competing apples to apples with the other store products that are on the shelf. Along with packaging, glass, labels, and just printing of all these different products and materials. When you have a shared collective buying power, you have a better chance of succeeding. Anyone else?
Yes. So where are you right now? I mean, it looks like you've got a pretty good relationship with Chico State. Is that?
I have talked to Casey at Butte County, his manager. I've talked to Mark at 3 Corps. I've talked to Chico State. I've talked to the city of Chico. I've talked to Tri-County's Bank. I've talked to Rabobank. I've pitched this idea to so many people. It's such a big undertaking. Nobody wants to step forward and take the lead on it. So it's going to take multiple people to come forward, sit down, create a stakeholders table, and then figure out how we can plan and how to work on a budget and what it's going to take to build a facility, as well as site location. Because to qualify for the USDA grants, you have to be outside certain city limits and offer so many particular services.
So you said you have toured other facilities that are similar. Have you spoken with them about the process of how they got it up and running?
Yes, especially at El Bahar. I've talked to the president of the board of directors. He's actually the president of like Monterey Bank, Santa Cruz Bank. I'm not sure, but he was very open about sharing information and how they got it accomplished. So it's just without being a person of title, for him to release that kind of information just isn't handed out so freely. You're like, oh, you're Tim Sharkey with California Habanero Blends. Sure, we'll give you all our financials. So having someone of title with like the county or the state or Chico State to sit down and say, hey, we have a collective group of people. We'd like to open this kind of facility here. You've already spoke with Tim. He said that you guys are open to share your information. Can we have a meeting? And can you share the information and see how we can incorporate this and create a sister facility? Because Watsonville is not competition. It's just way down there. It's out of the way. Totally different products, totally different kind of vegetables and produce to up here in the North State. So this would be
Well,
one
that's
of
what I mean. It seems like it's begging to be franchised almost.
and that was, I pitched this at the UC Davis food entrepreneurial program this summer. It was a 3-day workshop where you went in there and pitched different business ideas. This was a very welcomed idea, and I had some very nice conversations with some intellectual property and also private money and some angel investors, which they would like to see this more for a for-profit based facility.
Yeah.
That way you're grooming all these small companies to come in and you're making sure that those recipes and those products are sustainable. And once they've tested those products and put them on the store shelves, that you have access to angel investors where they can come and pick and choose what fits their profile and their portfolio to help your company grow. And that's what they were excited about, investing their money in companies and products that are already invested and that are sustainable. So they were very excited about it, and they wanted to do something more in the new Sacramento area where the new stadium's going. There's a whole area designated just for manufacturing and small business. So they were like, well, does it need to be in Butte County? It actually doesn't need to be in Butte County. It can be anywhere. It can be down in Sacramento, it can be down in the Napa Valley. I want it more for the North State. That's my goal. Have somewhere available in the North State where you don't have to drive 5-6 hours to go and use these kind of services. Because once you're up and running, you can go down in 3 days and make your product get in and out. And in the meantime, deliver all your product while you're down on vacation. Yes, Danny.
I was just curious if you've written an actual business plan because to me that's the first thought that I have is that would maybe be what could help you get in and get some of those people solidified.
I do have a business
step,
plan
the
outlined
next step.
with all these different concepts and topics and things written down. It's pretty intense. I got a couple binders that are filled with all kinds of stuff. There is already a food hub facility that was researched and a whole report put out, a four-part report by SACOG, Sacramento, it's called SACOG. I apologize not knowing the acronyms, but I hate acronyms. Where they actually studied working with different food hubs around the North State region and having Sacramento be the processing hub for it. And with that, they had everything they broke down. So they had facility costs, equipment costs, square foot costs to build a facility, how many employees, what the costs were for the employees, and those were the basic numbers that I took for some of the numbers that you saw up here. So I have a full spreadsheet pulling those numbers from their spreadsheets, and I sat with the director and the person who wrote the actual reports, and they shared the information with me. They said, yeah, if you're going to be using it, feel free to glean whatever you can from it. And I went and actually talked to their designer, it's called Food Pro International, who designed the building, designed the equipment and the needs, along with how many people it would take to run the facility. And it's 3 years old now. But the numbers are still pretty good, you know, employment costs, insurance, certification, they had everything in there.
Yeah.
So it's pretty much the same type of facility for processing, just adding an extra kitchen to it, you know, a larger open kitchen.
I guess like my thought is just more of like a business plan that might incorporate how you plan to, you know, get those businesses on board with you, like something that's maybe more laid out so that when you're trying to get Chico State and these people on board with you.
And that's where I've spent some time talking to food brokers, smaller food brokers that are providing organic-based food products to like Whole Foods, New Earth, a lot of the new specialty markets that are coming out, and they're finding that they're having a hard time supplying product once they get on the store shelves because they are such specialty products, and they don't have anywhere to go to produce them. So, speaking with him, there's like 2 or 3 different ones that they could start referring people to us, and even talking with the California League of Food Processors. They're the ones that actually give processing certification throughout California to the different facilities. There's about 150 different co-pack and manufacturing facilities that handle food products, and they set up like all kinds of, like how much water does it take to process peaches, and just different process and what do you call it, requirements. They set the standards for the requirements for the processing facilities. So, as myself going to co-packers, I've knocked on a bunch of these doors with my product, and I'm just way too small. They don't want to deal with me. Unless I have truckloads, they don't want to deal with you. So they get phone calls daily looking for places that can do small batch production runs and help people with their product right now. There's also the Specialty Food Association gets phone calls, and they can refer people to us on a constant basis as well. And there's also just products out on the store shelf. I mean, you go to Made in Chico. Every one of those products in Made in Chico could benefit from this facility on new product development, creating small production runs on their test products that they want to test on the store shelves before they go to their large co-pack facilities and do a truckload to get on store shelves.
Work time, Tim.
Yes, one more.
Yeah, I've been working with a winery in Lakewood,
Yes.
at least with representative there, and they're trying to do a new coffee wine product. So they're pretty much up as far north as we are, but just east, I guess west actually. Anyway, but they, like I go looking around in the stores around here and I don't see them on the shelves. Is there some way you could help people with existing products get on the shelf at some of these supermarkets, or is it?
Yes, the facility, and that's where once the products start coming in, is to make a catalog of the products that are being produced. And since there's already, each one of them is going out to their different facilities to drop off their products, is to create a catalog and create our own distribution company as well. So now again, it's shared services. So now if you come in and produce with us, we can put you into the catalog because the recipe's been vetted, your product is on the store shelf, and we know that it's going to be produced on a timely basis. And that's a big selling point to being a distributor, approaching buyers, is that you have control over what's being produced. So when they want to place an order, you can guarantee it's going to go on the shelf. So that's a huge selling point, another revenue stream that you're making another click up the revenue stream. So you're helping them selling the lease space on the floor. You're making money on the ingredients and the bottling and the packaging. You're making money off of the training and some of the classes and counseling, as well as being the broker and making money on the broker side. And once they go into the co-pack side of it, you're making the co-pack money. So there's multiple revenue streams throughout the place, and part of it is getting them on the store shelves because you want to have them grow. So that is a major factor of trying to help them get on the store shelves. So that is.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. All right, thank you, Tim, for your presentation today. It's been awesome. I want to thank you for your time. So we want to thank you for showing up to 1 Million Cups. Thank you for listening to my presentation. We ramble on. I really appreciate the time. So closing this out, we want to say thank you again to 6 Degrees Coffee for supplying the coffee today. BCAC for recording this for us. Very much appreciated. Idea Fab Labs for the facility and the awesome lights today. And who do we have next week?
Empower Me Art.
Empower Me Art. That sounds interesting. We also want to do a little shout out for the Idea Fab Labs that they are starting their Youth Inspiration Fund Labs. So it's an after school maker program. And that's going to start, information is on the website. And it's going to be starting February 1st. It's for 9 to 13-year-olds. And there are going to be 4 different sessions. Session 1 is micro drones and building them. Session 2 is 3D printing. Session 3 is coding for robotics, and 4 is creative computing with the Raspberry.
Cool.
So if you have kids or you'd like to get into coding, come on down to the Fab Labs and be part of the new youth makerspace. What are we going to call this? The new makerspace, what's it called?
Community.
Community, yeah. Thank you guys. Have a great day. Thank you for showing up.